How fast was I? I'm out of breath. Gorilla Pod on deck. Let's do this. Please hold. Alright, what's up guys? So on this week's episode, I'm going to be taking over the vlog. Last week my wife took over, and this week I'm going to take over and I'm going to talk to the fellas. Last week's episode kind of leaned towards a little bit more for the girls, but this week we're changing it up a bit. This time around I want to talk a little bit about how do you approach somebody? How do you go about showing someone that you're interested? When you're a guy, of course you're the one making the move. I mean, there's some girls that are, they have their stuff in place and they don't mind going out there and being the ones that approaches a guy. Kudos to you. Nothing against that whatsoever. I, as a guy, would have preferred that, because there's a level of risk involved when you do that, right? And I'm not too big on risk. I never gambled or anything. I kind of like the for sure things. Speed bump coming up. Speed bump. So I'm not a risky guy. So I preferred that. But in my case, in the most cases, the guy is the one that has to be the one that approaches. And that's completely fine. And I believe, honestly, I believe that this day and age, it's much easier for you to approach a girl, or at least let them know that you're somewhat interested in them. It's so much easier. You have Instagram, Snapchat. There's so many more forms of communication. As time goes by, it starts to get even easier to do. Why? Back then, think about this. Back then, you had to get the courage not only to approach someone, but have that awkward conversation of you giving your number, or you getting a number.
So listen, I was wondering, can I have your number?
Now, then you have, the phones that came out, where you can text and it became easier. Now you have Instagram. You don't even have to ask for a number, because back then you asked for a number and that automatically meant, okay, this person is interested in me. But now it's so much easier because you can interact on social media. Nothing like crazy, like I'm into you. Just an extra comment is like, wow, that's awesome. They post the food, the favorite food. Oh my goodness, that's my favorite too. Obviously, if it really is your favorite, don't be a creeper and start saying stuff that it's not true. But then there's the DM, but the subtle DMs. Don't be a creeper either, and just be all up on people's DMs. But not only that, even taking it a step further beyond the point of communication, I think that it's much easier because there's not that many gentlemen out there anymore. Unfortunately, there's a rare amount of gentlemen out there. It's scarce. Chivalry is not dead, because I'm a living testimony of that. But it is a dying breed. It is something that is dying. It's so much easier for you because all you have to do now as a guy is be a gentleman to that girl that you like. I mean, you should be a gentleman overall. That's not an excuse. Like, you shouldn't, but you'll be a little bit more gentleman-like with this girl that you want to get to know. Or it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna be with them, but maybe you have certain interests and you want to see if there's something there. Like, let's assume throughout this conversation, let's assume that you already have something in common, whether you go to the same church, whether you're in the same class, whether you are in the same after school activity, whatever. You have something in common, and the goal here is for it to be something organic, something that is not something that you're fighting, that is so obvious. Now, the idea for you fellas is that you have to not go all in. Some people have that all-in mentality in life, and I'm gonna either do it or I'm not gonna do it. But if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go all in. Me, on my opinion, I'm speaking from my opinion and my advice. Don't do that. It sucks when you get rejected. I've been rejected in the past, and it's not a fun thing. So don't put yourself in that position. You know what I mean? Train track coming. I'm holding you. Yes, we made it. So in my opinion, I'm not a very risky type of guy, and it sucks when you get rejected. I never really liked rejection. Nobody really likes rejection, you know? Maybe they post something on social media. You write a comment on a picture. Yum, that's delicious, or something. And then you work your way to maybe a conversation taking place that can then end up a conversation face to face because you referenced something that happened or that you commented on in the past. You know what I mean? So let's say you said yum to this picture, and let's say it's fettuccine alfredo, one of my favorite. And then you start a conversation on that when you see them in person, and then that's how you build up on that. Build up on it. Don't just go all in at once. And that makes it less risky, number one. That makes it less awkward, number two. Number three, you're not coming off as someone is super pushy or you're just being too much. And I think that's the magic key. Like if you're able to, you know, organically have some sort of interaction with this person, and I guess this goes for girls too. If you're the one that wants to show that you're interested or whatnot, then do that. Now, if you know that, you know, you've already gone, I guess, the extra mile and a half, 2 or 3 miles, and this person is simply not budging, no real interaction back with you, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Move on. Don't get stuck on them, and don't try to, oh no, but it's the will of God or whatever. If you already planted that seed and it is really the will of God, then it'll happen. Just do your thing. Don't go flirting with a whole bunch of other girls. Don't go acting a fool and continue to be a gentleman regardless. And just be you. At the end of the day, again, if it is God's will, he's gonna make the way for it. It's really practical, understanding human emotions, understanding how women, you know, function. They don't want creepers. They don't want people who are, you know, super desperate. Don't give yourself all at once. Pray. Be somebody who, you know, if it's somebody, especially a girl from church, they don't really necessarily look at all the lavishness and all that stuff. Of course, they're human as well, and you know, their flesh is gonna want an attractive guy and maybe build or whatever, unlike me. But something that is appealing, but also that you have a, you know, you're fruitful. You have an established mindset. You're someone who's established, who's working, who's, you know, has other things to offer other than what the eye meets. And then that's pretty much it, guys. There's not really much I can say. I love you guys. God bless you. Like this video. Share it with a guy that might be single, who hasn't had a girl for a really long time, that needs some sort of help. And this doesn't have to be it. We can continue building on this. Hit me up on the DM, Genevieve Chronicles on IG. Reply in the comments down below, and I'll be more than glad to help any of you with whatever I can. Again, I'm not no, you know, Cupid or anything, but let's do this. Love y'all.